Well, hello everyone. We are back today with a new Frightful Fridays video. I know it's been a while and I'm so sorry for that. Also, right off the bat, I do want to say sorry for the weird camera angle. I think I said this before in another video, but my ring light broke and that was also my tripod, so you are balanced on a variety of boxes, laundry baskets, and face mask jars right now. So my setup is a little weird, but I haven't posted in a while. Some crazy things have been going on just in my life. But I miss you guys and I want to get a new video up for you. So today we are going to be back with another Frightful Fridays and we are talking about the Devil's Chair today. It is also, I've heard, been called the Throne of Satan or even Satan's Lazy Boy, a little bit funnier of a name. But this is another Florida-based Frightful Fridays. That wasn't intentional, but when I was researching for this video, I have come across a lot of spooky finds in Florida. It's kind of like a hotspot for just paranormal and like scary stuff. So when I discovered this kind of Devil's Chair situation, I thought this would be great to talk about. I thought it was pretty interesting and I had never heard of this before, and so I kind of figured maybe you guys might not have heard of this before, or even if you have, maybe you'd want to hear more about it. I'm not sure, but we're just gonna go ahead and get on into it. And yeah, let me know what you guys think at the end, and I hope you enjoy the video. So where I don't know, what is this Devil's Chair, this Satan Lazy Boy? What is this? Why is it so creepy? We're gonna get into all of that right now, but first I need to tell you about the town that it's located in and a little bit about the area of where this Devil's Chair is located, specifically in Florida. Now, when I was doing this research, there are several of these Devil's Chairs or variations of what I'm about to talk about all throughout the country, maybe even the world. But when you Google Devil's Chair, like a lot of different places come up in different states that have like their own version of this. So I don't know if it's kind of a common thing that maybe people know about, but this is the Florida-based one. And today we are talking about the Devil's Chair or Satan's Throne, Throne of Satan, whatever you want to call it. We are talking about the one that is located in the cemetery that borders Cassadaga, Florida, and Lake Helen. Cassadaga, Florida is actually a small town in Florida that is known for its spiritualism, for its mediums. There's a lot of like self-proclaimed mediums there, a lot of fortune tellers, a lot of just spiritual things that go on within this small town, and it is known widely for being a town where just things go bump in the night. There's some spooky things that have happened throughout history, and it is well known, this little town, for just being a little bit different. The town's official slogan is actually "Where Mayberry meets the Twilight Zone," if that tells you anything about just kind of the activity that might go on in this town. That would help you better understand why there is something called the Throne of Satan located right around this town. So yes, there's a lot of fortune tellers, a lot of mystics in this town, a lot of mediums, just several different people who claim that they are in touch with the spiritual realm. Now, obviously, this town is also known for the cemetery with this Devil's Chair located inside the cemetery. So what is this Devil's Chair? Well, this Throne of Satan is a graveside bench. Actually, it's made out of brick, and it's like a great big long brick bench with big arms on it, and it is located by a graveside, and it is in the Lake Helen - Cassadaga Cemetery. That is where this Devil's Throne is located. That is the name of the cemetery, and legend has it that it was actually built by the devil himself. So very spooky that this chair could possibly be linked to the actual devil, not a scary demon, not an entity, but the devil. A little bit freaky, but that is what the legend is. So this Devil's Chair actually sits up on a hill in the middle of the cemetery. Like I said, it's a large brick chair with arms, and it is alleged that every single night at midnight, the devil himself returns to this chair to just have a nice little lounge, just to chill out right around midnight. I don't know, maybe he's getting his little midnight snack and he's coming to lounge in his lazy boy. A lot of people like to do that, even the devil, I guess. But yes, the legend is that the devil himself comes out every night and sits in his throne within this cemetery. This has raised a lot of questions and attracted people from all over the world and all over the nation to this area to try and learn more about the Devil's Chair, to try to break into the cemetery, to try to go there after dark. This Devil's Chair has become very well known and has attracted a lot of attention from paranormal seekers everywhere. Now, another part of this legend that's interesting and why I believe there's probably a lot of popularity around this Devil's Chair is that the legend states that if you sit on the Devil's Chair, that the devil himself will whisper evil ideas into your ear, he will speak to you, and that you will forever be haunted by the devil himself or other dark entities or both. So if you are brave enough to go to this chair at midnight, that is what is said happens, that the devil himself will communicate with you, but obviously not without being haunted for the rest of your life. So if you are a thrill seeker who doesn't mind being haunted forever, then maybe this is for you. Otherwise, if you're like me, I think I'm gonna stay away. But nonetheless, it is very interesting to learn about this and to hear some of the accounts of people who have attempted to sit in this chair, or this throne, whatever you would like to call it. But yes, that is what supposedly happens if you are brave enough to go to the cemetery after dark, and it is heavily guarded, so you would also have to break in. I do not, once again, I say this in every video, I do not recommend you breaking the law. I do not think that this would be a good idea if you were to go there and do this. I'm not encouraging anyone to go to this cemetery or to sit in the Devil's Chair. This is purely informational, but it is stated that people have to break into the cemetery, go up to the hill where the Devil's Chair is on, sit down, sit in it, and the devil himself will communicate with you. That is the legend. It is also alleged that sometimes the devil himself actually appears to the person who sits in his throne. So yeah, I'm not about that. Maybe if you want to see the devil in real life, that's on you. But me personally, I don't think so. But that all allegedly is what happens if you go to this Devil's Chair, if you go to the cemetery, etc. Now, there is another part of this legend which I just find really interesting and creepy, of course, but just a little bit odd and random. There are many people who claim that if you leave a full can of something, whether it's beer, soda, I don't know, canned LaCroix, like whatever. If you leave a can, an unopened can full of whatever liquid is inside, if you leave this by the Devil's Chair overnight, in the morning, it is claimed by people who have done this that the can will be completely empty, but it will also be unopened. So kind of like you're offering, I don't know, a beer or whatever to the devil or the dark entities that come and sit on the chair. It is said and alleged that the next morning, there's no liquid in the can, but the can is unopened, which obviously, how do you do that? How does something do that? It would have to be something paranormal. So many people claim that they have done this, and that is what has happened. The can will basically somehow be drained of its liquid by what many people claim to be dark forces. So there's just a lot of dark activity surrounding this Devil's Chair. Not to mention the fact that it is in a cemetery, of course. And I'm not only saying that for the paranormal side of it, but also people who just enjoy breaking into cemeteries for fun and do, you know, different creepy things in cemeteries. Obviously that kind of stuff goes on, so that just kind of adds to the dark, ominous energy that surrounds this Devil's Chair. But that is what the actual legend states, is that you sit in the chair. Well, first of all, that the devil himself sits in that chair every night at midnight, and that if you sit in the chair, the devil himself will come speak to you, whisper things in your ear, haunt you forever, and also drain your cans of soda or beer or whatever it is if you have any of that. So all around just spooky from start to finish with this chair. Yes. So basically, because this Satan's throne is so popular, it has caused a lot of issues for the small town of Cassadaga, or Cassadaga. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, But it has caused a lot of problems for this small town, and it has become widely known now that the cemetery is very, very, very heavily patrolled, especially around Halloween time, and especially during Halloween night. That is when a lot of tourists, kids, just different people will come try to break into the cemetery. They will wreak havoc among the town, steal things out of people's yards, out of the locals' yards, just cause problems and try to see what paranormal things can happen. But the main attraction is obviously the Devil's Chair within the cemetery. So the closer it gets to Halloween, it is very, very highly patrolled, but year round it is also just a highly patrolled area because they have had just so much tourist activity and just people who have caused a lot of problems in or surrounding the cemetery itself. The tourists, local kids, and other thrill seekers actually became such a problem within the town that a huge metal fence was actually installed around this cemetery to keep people out. And I have even read a few accounts where it is now illegal to visit the cemetery at all. So just want to throw that out there. I don't need anybody getting arrested for watching this video, but I have read and heard that it's actually illegal to go to this cemetery now. So I don't even know if you would want to try. I don't know why you would want to try anyway. But yes, it has become such a popular thing that now it has to be super highly patrolled. They put a fence around it, and of course, it is illegal to go in it at all. So you are breaking the law just by entering, but people still do it. That is why they had to put the fence up in the first place, is because it just became such an issue. And to me, that kind of seems like, well, maybe there's some truth behind it then if this many people but are going out to try to speak to the devil, but at the same time, you know, you just don't know. So not that I recommend you doing this, but this has caught the attention of several, you know, I don't even know how many people, but several people from all around the country. The locals have stated, just in different things that I've read, that they've become very tired and irritated by the amount of people that try to come to the town after dark, especially around Halloween, but really anytime. Just they find a lot of people try to get into the town and break into the cemetery after dark. With it being such a small town, this obviously word travels fast. People find out about this, people witness it happening. So it has caused a big problem for the locals of the town, and they don't appreciate that, so I've read. Now, many of the locals have stated they do enjoy visitors, obviously, for the local economy and to spread the word about the town, but the havoc that is wreaked is also very frustrating to them, because it's not only the cemetery, a lot of people's houses get vandalized, things get stolen, as I stated before, so that is frustrating for the locals. So now that we know what the Devil's Chair is, where it's located, maybe how you can access it, what are some things that have happened by people who have been brave enough to visit the Devil's Chair? I will tell you now. So one witness alleges that they know someone who went to the Devil's Chair and sat in it after dark, like the legend states, and this person stated that when they sat on the big brick bench, that they could hear voices inside of their head. So not out loud, but they heard these voices in their head. And then as soon as they got up from the chair, the voices immediately went away. Creepy. And they also, this same person, left a sealed can of beer on the grave next to the chair. So not on the chair, but on the grave next to it. Remember, it's a graveside bench. And the next morning they went back and checked, and it was completely empty, the beer can, but still completely sealed. So just like the legend states, that is apparently what happened here, allegedly. Very creepy. Another account that I read, a person claims that they went to the Devil's Chair with a big group of their friends, and they went at night, like the legend states you should. They were planning on sitting in the chair, trying to hear from the devil. But when they got there, no one was brave enough to actually sit in the chair. And this was because everyone in this friend group was incredibly uneasy, and you could say spooked, I guess. They were very fearful, very nervous, very scared. And this is because they claim that they saw dark figures just lurking all around the cemetery, in the shadows, behind gravestones, and around the Devil's Chair himself. They were seeing dark figures and just things that were lurking in the night every time they turned their heads, and this really freaked them out and spooked them. This was actually enough to just ward them off from even attempting to sit in the chair at all. They did not want to go through with it. And they claim, this group of friends claims that they are unsure if it was just some kids messing around or something much more sinister. But with the vast amount of figures that they described they saw, I don't know how many kids would be at the cemetery at once trying to prank people. I mean, maybe that's a total possibility. But maybe they were seeing something otherworldly or a lot darker than some kids pulling a prank. But yeah, those people were so freaked out that they did not even sit in the chair. It was just that spooky being in the presence of it. So that's frightening. There were a group of students that went to this cemetery on Halloween night actually as well. And they stated that they could not even get into the cemetery because the entire road was blocked by, quote, storage people. They alleged that the people were a group of mediums from Cassadaga and they appeared to be trying to communicate with the dead, which is very interesting and creepy. So there evidently was this group of people that were just surrounding the cemetery or the street before it, blocking it. And these students claim that this group of people looked like they were performing some type of ritual, maybe a seance, maybe they knew these people were mediums and they were trying to communicate with otherworldly things. So they didn't even go to the cemetery. They were that freaked out just by what some of the locals in the town were doing. And there's just several other accounts as well of people who have gone to this cemetery and have heard voices, who have left cans and the cans have been empty the next day, who have sat in the chair and seen dark figures, who have been left spooked afterwards. There are so many accounts. This was just a few of them, but if you look it up, there are just so many more that I could get into. But this video is already long enough, and I think that's where I'm going to leave it off. Let me know if you guys have ever heard of the Devil's Chair. Like I said, I had never heard of this one before. If you've ever visited the town or actually the cemetery that it's in. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know your experience if you've ever been to this cemetery or sat in the Devil's Chair or at least seen it. Let me know all of that in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this, if you believe in it or if you think it's total bull. Let me know. I'd love to have a discussion with you, and I'd also love to hear what you would want me to talk about next. So please leave that in the comments below. As always as well, my scary story email is linked or is listed in the description box. So if you have any spooky, scary stories that you would like me to read on this channel, please send them to me and let me know how you would want to be credited, and we can work something out like that. Or just email me if you have scary stories that you want me to talk about or other things that you want me to talk about for Frightful Fridays. Comment it, email me, let me know what you guys thought of this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!